Hey, what's up, guys? We got Arkheim with us. It's going to be an amazing show. We're going to play the intro and get started. And
All right, you look frozen, Rob. Now you're back. You glitching out.
to another episode of the Typical Skeptic podcast. I have my Arkheim Ra. I wrote a little blurb about it. I wrote Arkheim Ra returns to deliver a no holds barred takedown of the illusion of politics, the silence on Gaza, and the deeper betrayal within. I guess you could call our community or whatever's going on here. And I'm not taking sides. I'm just having here to report what he feels. And in this explosive conversation, we dive into Trump and the Epstein files. I might have to put. I mean, this is on Rumble, but our team's brave for streaming to his channel. I'm streaming to my YouTube now, but we're going to get into the Epstein files, how both sides are owned by the same shadow forces, political theater exposed why the left and right is a rigged distraction, Gaza's ongoing horror, why the community's silence is unacceptable, disclosure, why our team didn't attend the conference and what's going on, mind control in the MyLab program, his own abduction programming through the U.S. school system's tag pipeline. And obviously, you can ask him questions at some point. We'll do a Q&A, and you can ask him about his experience as a time soldier or whatever questions you want to ask. We'll do that every time our team comes on the show. We always do a little bit of a Q&A. So with all that, and a little bit more about my guest, Arkheim Ra is an ancient soul incarnated into human form, only to be abducted into black ops programs through the U.S. tag talented gifted system. A whistleblower, researcher, and author of Time and Space Unlimited, he exposes occult time travel ops, clone warfare, and time corporations manipulating humanity across timelines. And you can find him at Disclosure Known on YouTube. And then he also has a Patreon group, which is Arkheim Ra on Patreon. And I'd like to give him a big warm welcome back to the show, my good friend Arkheim. Thank you so much for coming back on, man. How are you? Oh shit, you went out, dude. Your audio went out again. I can hear you now. You're good. I mean, I heard something. It went, and now it's out again. No, nothing. It's not my speaker. I know. Give us 1 second, guys. We're just having technical difficulties. We'll figure this out. Oh, you're muted, dude. You're muted. Go unmute.
Okay, I don't know what happened there.
That was funny.
It's been happening like every show of mine. I don't know what it is. At the beginning of it, the microphone stops working. It's probably interference. I don't know. It's really weird.
Yeah, I would say it's interference, dude.
I just wanted to say thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here. Sorry I couldn't be at the conference. I just wanted to firstly say, because people are probably going to wonder about that. I'm just going to address that right away. Just drinking some coffee to wake up a little bit here. Firstly, I just want to say, I don't judge people for going to the conference. To me, disclosure is not a partisan issue. It's not like a right-wing issue or a left-wing issue. It's an everybody issue. You know what I mean? So I can understand why just because somebody goes to the conference doesn't mean they necessarily agree with everybody there. So it would be really immature of me and silly of me to be like, I'm not going to fuck with you if you spoke at the Full Disclosure Now conference. That's stupid. And honestly, Brian is amazing at getting people together and finding, whistleblowers and stuff like that. And it looked like a really amazing time, a really amazing lineup. Credit where it's due. I just have had some realizations where it's like, I kind of feel like we have a little bit of an echo chamber going on within the disclosure community that needs to be broken. And there's some realistic realizations that need to be made, mature realizations and rational realizations that need to be made in order for our community to be more effective on the world front, on the global front, really the galactic front, honestly. And the reason why I started my divide with, just to be real, I'm not trying to talk shit, but with Brian and certain people in this community, is because, you know, when I joined this community, Joe Biden was president. Remember that? He was president.
Yeah,
This guy was an idiot, you know, obviously. I didn't like anything that was going on with the government at that time. And so when the community was, you know, shit talking the government, I mean, that was like the environment, right? Like, we didn't trust the government when I joined the community. And, you know, we were skeptical of the government, you know, stuff that the government would try to do, new laws they would try to pull off, certain things they would try to pull, skeptical of it, right? And then Trump came along, and all of a sudden it's like we don't need to be skeptical anymore. He's got everything under control. And I was trying to explain that all these things that he's doing are bad, and you know, like and like he's basically owned by the same people. And I kept on getting like talked over by people who are basically like, no, you don't understand. He's taking out the key players and he's working with the white hats and all this stuff. And I kept on being like, I really don't believe that, you know, and I still don't believe that. And anyway, basically, when it comes down to it, it just got to this point where the cognitive dissonance just started to bother me, and I couldn't deal with it anymore. When Elon was doing a SIG Heil and things like that, and I saw the political climate that I was in, and the people that I was rubbing shoulder with, and the thing they were believing, and it was around this time that I was really vindicated when I saw that. I'm going to name names. I'm sorry. I know that you probably are great friends with her, but Laura Eisenhower posted about how we would be in a better timeline if the Nazis won World War II. And basically, we should have sided with the fascists instead of the communist Russia. And Brian agreed with that. I saw him in the comments in there agreeing with that. And wow, I'm getting a ringing in my ears now. That means danger. Anyway, I really disagreed with that. I thought it was quite disgusting. I don't believe that the world would be a better place if the people that threw people in gas chambers for existing. I don't think it'd be better if they won. You're making a bunch of fluffy noise. I don't know if you're moving something around, but I can hear like.
Oh, sorry.
You just want to mute yourself. Yeah. So yeah, I just don't think the world would be a better place if the Nazis won. The Nazis, Dr. Dr. Green, many people have talked about this guy and how he's tortured us and experimented on us in MK Ultra programs. That guy's a Nazi. He's a Nazi scientist. A lot of the stuff that happened to us was just Project Paperclip being brought over here. So it was the Nazis torturing us, experimenting on us, and just basically these American programs that are working with the German space fleet and stuff like that. And all sorts of wild things going on. And I have a very complicated position when it comes to all of this stuff. I have a view, and the memories are coming back more and more every day. They're still kind of hazy, some of them, but I do have a view of what the German breakaway colonies are like and what it's like to be an important person on a German breakaway planet, because I am the son of Karl Emmermann. And Karl Emmermann is a high up, basically Nazi elite. And being his son, I've been an SS officer in other lives. And I'm going to tell you guys a little story. There's some, I think that to kind of help illustrate my point here, because I think that there's nationalistic like programming from the secret space programs, right, coming into this community as testimony. And people basically claiming things as unequivocally true and stuff like that. And some of it's kind of unsavory. I don't know how to use what other word to use, but and some of it's kind of white supremacist, kind of racist, frankly. And I'll just give you some examples. Like, I remember being on a breakaway planet. It was a German breakaway planet called Germania or Germachia or something like that. I can't remember the exact word, but it was like German, you know, turned into the name of like a planet. Like it kind of like Germania or something like that. There's probably other people out there, other whistleblowers will be like, oh, I know what planet you're talking about. It's actually, because I know I'm slightly off. But I remember I lived on that planet, and because of the position that I had, I tried to influence what people, people's opinions on stuff, on certain things. And basically, we needed new colonists bad. We needed to build new infrastructure. We need more farms. We needed, like, it was a matter of life or death getting more colonists on our planet at that time. And so we were opening up our planet to black colonists. For real, there weren't any not one single fucking black colonist, all white people on this planet at this point. And they're gonna have like their own settlement, their own city, all this other stuff, and they're gonna start off in an area close to an area that we were living in, and branch off from there and work in town and stuff like that and help with the jobs and stuff like that. But there are people that didn't want them there because they believed that it was a violation of German culture to have all these Negroes, that was the terminology that was being used, move to our planet. And I remember writing this article and doing kind of like interviews about it with certain newspapers and stuff like that. And I basically said that if German culture is so weak that we can't have some black people hanging out being Germans on a German planet, but we must have a really weak culture. That was my argument. I was saying, like, you must think that German culture is weak. If you think that African people coming to, people of African descent coming to a German colony full of German people and German culture is suddenly going to get ruined overnight because they're different or something like that, and our culture will be lost. That was literally the argument that people were making. And it's called like cross-cultural contamination. That's what some people view it as. It's called cross-cultural contamination.
Well, Arkheim, that was just like the situation here in America, like in the 50s and 60s too. You know what I mean? Like it was so segregated before people like Martin Luther King that
and they were still, it was going to be like kind of segregated. They weren't going to be, like I said, they were going to kind of put them in a different part of the city to where they could come in and work in the city, but they don't have to live with the people, which is kind of fucked up. And that was an argument hall. It's going to be fine. It's like, which is racist and weird, but that was the argument. And yeah, man, I've just seen it. And I just think that, like, for instance, like there's people who, I'm not going to name names. Like I'm trying to be as respectful as possible here. I'm not just trying to like shit on a bunch of people on your show, but a certain individual came on my show, was talking about how when Trump becomes president, and we're going to have to start targeting immigrants and stuff like that, and people of certain skin colors are going to get targeted, and that's okay, which is unconstitutional and wrong. And I'm not trying to bring up this point over and over again because I've said it a bunch of times, but that is wrong. And I had this person say that on my show, and I do think that if this certain individual lived on a Mormon breakaway planet. They have testified to it. They've been on my show about it. People can connect the dots if they want. I don't feel like naming names. Dude, the Mormon breakaway planets are racist as fuck, dude.
Wow.
Like, read the Mormon Bible. They say that basically the color of your skin is an indication of purity, and the whiter it is, the more pure you are. That is literally part of the religion. So if you've ever bet, yeah. So I literally think people's programs from these really fucked up, racist, white supremacist breakaway colonies that do exist, I think some of it's coming through into the here and now, and people are just like, oh yeah, it's okay. Like, we need to be kind of racist. We need to target immigrants. And like, it's exactly like I said. I was like, they're going to work their way up from the immigrants to normal people, and they're going to use it to they're going to use it to target everybody and build an AI surveillance system. And people can go back and find these interviews before all this stuff even happened, where I said it was going to happen. I said they're going to do all this stuff. They're going to use the illegal immigrants to start surveilling everybody. That's what I said. And that is literally what's happening. Palantir, dude, it's named after the evil orb from the Lord of the Ring. And this company...
well, you know what, Arkheim, I just have to agree with you because, like, we saw this with the Patriot Act with 9/11. Obviously we had an atrocity happen in the United States with 9/11, but they used the Patriot Act as not just a way to find terrorists, but they used it as a way to, track people and surveil people. And it was like, it's always like the government always has multiple agendas when they do things, right?
And they want to, they're already being like, oops, that was an American citizen. Sorry that you were in our prison for 3 days. Or, oops, actually, you do have a green card. There's so much of that stuff going on. Or, oh, actually, you 13 people that were sent to this weird military fucking prison camp in El Salvador. Actually, you weren't supposed to be there. Sorry, you can go home now. Like, all this stuff is happening that, dude, it doesn't make sense. And the narrative, of them just going after hardened criminals, which would have been a good thing, I guess, if you're going to just get rid of like all these hardened criminals and get them off the streets. Hell yeah. You know what I mean? But it's come to the point where that's not what they're doing. Even Trump himself has admitted his own blunders. They're raiding all these farms, which is going to affect the food supply if we're not careful. And he went right on his American social or whatever, I'll choose social. And he was like, this is unacceptable. I wanted to go after criminals. And it's like, what do you think is going to happen when you give all ICE full reign to just start going after immigrants? And it's just like the Gestapo stuff, except it's a different group of people. They're illegal immigrants this time. And look, we can make all these different arguments about how people need to come in our country legally and all this stuff. I'm all for that. But when you got people like, I have a certain opinion, but we can talk about it. But when you have people like here in this area, which is very left wing, by the way, they're like taking people away from their kids in front of schools and stuff. Like they're dropping off their kids, or American citizens and stuff like that. A lot of times they live here, they have their lives here. They're dropping them off at schools, and ICE a few times now they're breaking their windows. You know what I mean? Why is this all necessary? Why in front of a preschool? Why in front of a daycare center? This is all shock and awe, performative. It's meant to scare people. It's meant to show people the power of state. They want people shocked into submission, and people need to understand Gaza, what's going on with Gaza right now in Israel, and how they've leveled it. And right now, they're literally starving them. There's literally a genocide right now going on, a famine. Children are dying. People are seeing disemboweled 2-year-olds and stuff like that on their timelines right now on TikTok. Like, it's bad. And I haven't seen anybody in this community talk about it. I haven't seen anybody talk about how fucked up it is. I haven't seen anybody talk about how something needs to be done about it, or speak out about it, or say like these people are people, they're not animals, or any of that. I haven't seen any of that. And a lot of people in the community would be like, oh, well, like I can just hear like people being like, oh, well, it's all the media. Dude, the media the whole time has tried to be like, Israel's actually the good times. They tried good guys. They tried to sell us that for like 2 fucking years. No, they're actually good. Bombs hospitals. No, they're actually good. Bombs pregnancy wards. No, they're fine. They're not. They're the good guys. Bombs people while they're trying to get food. Like, dude, we are witnessing war crimes. Like, and they're testing how far they can go to bring it right to you and all over the whole world. And I know it from personal experience as a time soldier who has gotten turned into a fucking cyborg by Israel Defense Force and Netanyahu and his fucking goons. They're criminals. It's a criminal organization. They are literally war criminals. They have literally been charged with war crimes. They do not fly over Ireland in certain countries because the plane has to land. The police would fucking arrest them. Do you realize that? They can't land in certain countries because the police would come to the plane and fucking arrest them for war crimes. Netanyahu and his cronies, literally. People don't realize that they have formally been charged on a global court by the global court for war crimes, for genocide of the Palestinian people. That is a real fucking thing that's actually happening right now. And believe it or not, it matters a lot when I don't know how many people, hundreds of thousands, have been starved. They've bombed more people than certain cities, like 3 cities combined in World War II. It's just crazy. You look at the pictures of it 2 years ago, or 3 years ago. It's a thriving place. There's people walking around. There's people getting food, and now it's leveled. And Trump wants to talk about building a fucking golf course on it, a resort and shit. That's disgusting. Like, I don't understand. I very much so don't understand how this guy who talks about, like, he got asked on TV on The View when he was with his daughter. They're like, what do you have in common with your daughter? And he says, sex. What the fuck is this shit? This is the guy that's going to take out the, this is the guy who's going to take out the, and one of the ladies on there. I don't like the View ladies, but she gave him a stinger response. She's like, "What are you, Woody Allen?" That's literally what she said. And I'm like, yeah, fuck with that dude. That's weird, man. Why are you saying that stuff? And there's many examples, and there's Epstein survivors who are claiming that,
Dude,
that they have
tell
been.
you about the Epstein. I wanted to bring that up. So I follow a lot of comedians, like Theo Vaughn and Joe Rogan, and I follow that whole crowd. So listen to what happened. So when I voted for Trump, but like when I see he's wrong, like the things you're saying, I agree with you with, and like I feel like he should be called out when he's wrong. You know what I mean? Because I'm not totally for him, against him. I try to stay neutral, but like check this out, bro. So this is an actual fact, okay? When Trump went on podcasts like Theo Vaughn, the comedian, or when he went on Joe Rogan or whatever, they gave those comedians a media sheet of stuff they wanted to talk about. And guess what was the first thing on every list? It was the Epstein list. So check this out. He wanted to talk about the Epstein list and how he was going to release it. Now someone comes up to him and talks to him and like asks him, "What about the Epstein list?" And he's like, "Oh, you guys are still talking about that? That's old news." It's like, no, bro. You went to the comedians and you said, "This is what you want to talk about." You said you wanted to release the list. Now, when it comes time to release,
that's because he knows that's what people are going to vote for. That's because he knows that's what people are going to vote for. And once he's president, it doesn't fucking matter. That's the reason why. And that's his basically, because illegal, he's president. He can do whatever the hell he wants now. It's basically his mentality. It doesn't matter how much of his base leaves him. And he's insulted his base. He's literally said, "You are stupid if you care about the Epstein files. You are stupid if you care about one of the most prolific abusers of children who sex trafficked to the royals, presidents. That doesn't matter. And you're stupid if you care about it." I mean, dude, and the fact that we saw Kash Patel go on Joe Rogan, speaking of Joe Rogan, and dude, that shit was hilarious to watch. Him being like, "Oh, there are no Epstein files. He actually killed himself, believe it or not." And Joe Rogan's just like, "Bro, are you shitting me here?" He was polite about it, but there was
30 minutes of that Epstein footage missing, right? For people that watch it, like
it's been messed with, and then the fact
that was Epstein getting up and walking right out of the jail, and him going to a private island somewhere, and they replaced it with a body double, which we know from the SSP and stuff about cloning that they can do.
I mean, that's what I think happened. I mean, there are people who have gone public. There are Epstein client survivors who are grown women now who have talked about what they've witnessed. They've talked about being basically in sexual situations with both Epstein and Trump present. And I've also seen a woman who claims, and this is on Aquarius Africa Rising or whatever. I've been on that show before. I haven't watched the interview yet, but she talks about how she's seen Epstein shapeshift.
Wow.
Yeah, and I think that Heather Blessington is great. She's got great intel. Melania is an agent. Do people really think she married Trump? Come on. And that's how these people work. See, this what they do is they get dirt on you and then they own you. And this is my whole thing. To all the hardcore right-wing MAGA patriot people in the truther community, when you find out, which, I mean, it's kind of already plain as day now. Like, I shouldn't have to spell it out for people. But when you find out unequivocally that both Trump and Bill Clinton are both on the Epstein files, right? You're finally going to have to admit that what I said about two wings of the same bird, when people are like, "Oh, that's not necessarily true." Yes, it is true. It's not. Some of these cliche sayings, people are like, "Oh, it's just a cliche." No, it's not. It's actually a really powerful and true statement. Like, all it is a show. And, people can make their arguments about voting, but, like, voting will never, ever get as much done as, like, getting to know your neighbors, starting to garden, building community, learning how to shoot a gun, stuff like that. For protection and protecting your community, not to be a thug or something like that, right? But these are the kinds of things that are going to make the world a better place, not and a lot of the people in the truther community. I'm sorry if I'm just on a rant here, but there's another thing that gets snuck into the truther stuff, and it's like cities are bad. people shouldn't live in cities. They should go live in the middle of nowhere. And dude, I get that because I've lived in the middle of nowhere and it's fucking awesome. I understand it. There's some pretty cool things about living in the middle of nowhere because I've done it. But the thing is human beings should live with each other. They should live among each other, and cities should just be built in a better way where we've got plants growing everywhere, food growing everywhere. I mean, dude, people don't realize this, but when the colonizers came to the United States, the paths were lined with like apple trees and peaches and all this stuff, and they're like, it's like a Garden of Eden all over again. What? No, they're just smart. They knew where to plant stuff. They're like, oh, we walk on this, so let's just plant all these plants here that bear fruit, and then when we're walking, we won't have to carry food with us, and we can just, when we want to take a break and sit down in the shade and have an apple or whatever, that's what they did, and we can live that way again. And another thing that makes cities loud and annoying and hard to be in and hard on the psyche is cars. But cars, you literally need an energy siphoning thing that siphons the blood of the earth, black magic ritual bullshit, fucking cabal bullshit. That's what cars are, man. I've been in other realities where we got trains, zeppelins, and stuff like that, where the world is not the way it is, and it's better. People just haven't seen the light. I'm sorry if I'm just going on a rant, but all the things that matter to me, like the most, like didn't seem to matter to the people that, like, I believe in building community and wanting to be in community, and I kind of want to do like a post-Project Oblivion thing. But people got to meet in the middle with me more, man. Like, people got to admit, like, okay, you were right about some certain things. Dude, like, Trump is in the fucking Epstein files. Like, unequivocally, like, he is. And he's not this hero fucking guy that everybody thinks he was. And that's going to be a huge moment for the world when we find that out. Like, but the thing is no, but this is the issue. This is ironically the issue that brings us together. Because think about it. Let's just play out events hypothetically. Let's just say that we find out that Trump is in the Epstein files, right? And then we find out Bill Clinton is in the Epstein files, like I said earlier.
And Obama.
Doesn't that just show and Obama and all these other people? Doesn't it just kind of show that, like, they're all fuckers? And then maybe we can get on the same page.
When I was at the conference, Arkheim, I got to go in my pictures and find this. Someone sent me a thing at the conference that said Obama was being indicted or something like that. Like, it was on Twitter.
I keep on hearing about the indictments. This person got indictment. This person had an ankle bracelet on and all this stuff. I believe it when I see it. Like, another thing that I hear is Trump cleared out the bases. Like, I feel like if Trump really did clear out the bases and do all this stuff, we would hear about it. He would just, like, tell us. Like, I feel like what's he waiting for to tell us if he cleared out the bases? I know stuff's still happening to me. I know I'm still working. I know the programs are still pretty active. I don't know how much of the dark forces have been taken down. I do believe there is some of that going on behind the scenes. I don't know if Trump has been involved, because even if he is like not a perfect guy and actually even maybe a bad guy, sometimes the lesser evil can be more positive. Because, dude, like, I've been to another timeline, and this is where I kind of have a conversation piece of olive branch where I was like, Trump supporters, like, I get you guys, I understand. I remember another timeline where Hillary Clinton became president, and the West Coast and, like, the East Coast got totally obliterated and, like, bombed. And, like, it was really bad. All this bad stuff happened. Like, she fucked up the timeline super bad. I remember that. And then Trump got elected instead in this timeline. And I'm like, wow, well, some crazy stuff is going on while this guy's president, but everybody is alive. So when I'm hearing all these people being like, key players tapped him from behind, and I'm like, hell, fuck, maybe that's true, dude. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, because that's what people say. The Q people, they're like, you got tapped on the shoulder, like, hey, we need a guy that's not controlled. But the thing is that doesn't make sense to me, because he's in the Epstein file. So how does that make any sense? I don't know. Is he the lesser of evils? That's the kind of maybe kind of agree to disagree, like the point where I met with people at it. Like, you know what I mean? And it's just gotten to the point where, like I said, I'm kind of curious, because, bro, when I go on Facebook, I go on there to look at Marketplace and look at guitar pedals and stuff. And then my Instagram, I don't really see truth or stuff. what are people saying about this? It's like the Epstein thing and Trump. Are they saying it's like 5D chess and like he's actually good, or are people admitting, Rob, that this is actually kind of fucked up and maybe this guy isn't who they thought he was? Are people admitting that?
I know, for example, like Nathan Sizek, I'm not speaking for him, but I talked to him at the conference and even before it, and he's had a little revelation. He feels like he's more like neutral now, more like thinking about like that, like, something's up, like.
Well, I kind of feel like having like a post Project Oblivion roundtable, and it might be good to have him on. I've been kind of wary of it because I'm protecting my energy. Like my energy is precious to me. But I do believe that Project Oblivion is real and that they use
absolutely sure
100% and the nationalistic programming versus my like, dude, I'm very anti national that shit. Like I've always been like that,
The targeting is to a point where it's like it's insane, dude. Like I'm getting targeted. I mean, like it's everything I do. I mean, like they just demonetized my audio podcast. That's how I made 90% of my income. Like, dude, they, like they're trying to destroy. They're trying to like fucking, Alex Jones me right out of the fucking community, man. Like someone.
I'm just chilling out, man. I'm like I've been trying to kind of take it easy. I don't know if well, I did have a toothache. I think I have been getting attacked lately. I don't know, but dude, I've been releasing my music actually. I released an album about a week ago.
Nice.
It's an older album. It's the album that I made with Ghost Effects, who is a guy who I signed a blood oath with and went to fucking Centurion 5 with to record music and produce music for like The Weeknd and stuff like that, and like all sorts of other people. I know it sounds absolutely insane, but if that album has some crazy fucking energy in it, dude. Like I'm talking about, this was before I woke up, and like the whole album was like one of my authors, I swear to God, like wrote it or something. Like it's very spiritual. The album was kind of dark, but like in a like letting out the darkness kind of way, not like embracing the evil. It's because you know what I mean. It's kind of like in a balanced way, if that makes sense. It's kind of a dark album, to be honest with you, but it's not like an evil album, if that makes any sense. It's just kind of got a darker energy to it. But then I got that, and then some singles that I've put out, and then I'm putting out a rap album, which I think you might like, Rob, which is a bit sillier. It's kind of silly, but I've just been working on music again, which is something that they really took from me. And I think that it is actually important for me to make music because I've testified to the fact that they've stolen my music. And I think it's kind of a way to prove to the world that, no, they literally did actually steal my music. You can hear it. You can hear, like, my sound is unmistakable. Like, you can hear it. Like, when the Weeknd came out with Blinding Lights, my friends were like, bro, that new song on the radio sounds like you. Everybody was telling me that. Like, I swear to God, Rob, like, everybody that knew me was like, that new Blinding Lights that you hear everywhere, it sounds just like something you would make. It's because I did make it, which I didn't even realize at the time. It took me time to figure it out.
What's the rap album like? Is it like, did you hear James Casbolt has a rap album out? Miles Johnson.
Bro, I've been thinking about reaching out to him and been like, let's make a fucking song, dude. I've been thinking that would be fucking hilarious.
I'd love to be in on that. Like, wouldn't
that be amazing? Yeah, dude, spit some bars, bro.
I got bars.
You get James Drink in the video doing some dancing.
That would be cool, man. We should do it. Like, we should get a hold of him, dude. If you get a hold of him, don't forget about me, dude. I guarantee. I swear to God, I'll drop a verse. Like, it'll be hilarious, dude. Like, it'll be amazing. Like, we should definitely do it. Like, Heather said in the chat, says someone's deleting her messages. Heather, it's not me. She was saying something about cash and his adreno habit, and Salman bin, what his name is, Salman, Mohammed bin Salman and Hunter. I'll put her comment up so people can see it. I don't want you to think I'm deleting your messages, Heather. I definitely would not do that. I think it's either targeting or YouTube. It's not one of my moderators either. So I wouldn't do. I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, dude, that would dude. This whole world's like a fucking fiasco nowadays.
Yeah.
It really is, dude. Like, sometimes I just look at the world and I'm like, what is next? What are they going to do next? And then it's like harder for the people in the programs because they're dealing with the shit in the outside world, but then they have to deal with the shit they're being MyLab and abducted and possible alien contact and involved in SSP shit. I mean, it's like, it's insane, man. I'm just,
yeah,
you know,
it's pretty wild. I lately have learned that I have to, for my own sanity, keep the walls up and the memories and stuff kind of a little more distant from me in order to keep my own sanity. Like, I know I did a 20 and back last night. How do I know I did a 20 back last night? I woke up with long hair and was like, oh, thank God, my hair. That's not a normal thought to have when you wake up. I always have long hair. Why would I think that? Apparently for 20 years I didn't have long hair. So I know that stuff's still happening to me. I know that I'm still being taken, but lately, I don't know if this is why I'm not being targeted as much, and maybe this is me falling in line. I sure hope not, but I've just been trying to kind of get my fucking mental health together, work on music, but here's the thing: is it's not in the vein of like, all right, well, fuck disclosure because it's too right wing. No, it's not right wing. Disclosure's not right wing or left wing. It doesn't belong to anybody. You know what I mean, Rob? And so that's why, like, and there's a lot of people who come on my show all the time are like, thank God, man. We need somebody like you. I keep watching people's show and I'm like, when are they going to get the picture? Let's move on. Like, you know what I mean? From this Trump thing. Like, he's not what, you know, I'm not the only person who sees this BS. I'm not the only person who sees it. So it's good. And I just want to say it to people who maybe kind of see the light and get that he's not maybe what they think.
Here's my whole thing. Like, yeah, I went to the conference and Brian and Ida were amazing. They were really amazing to me, and I have to like give them credit for that. And
they're great hosts.
But like, I may not see everything I might not see everything eye to eye, but like, I still had fun at the conference. And
here's the thing: is I've had questions about the approach I've taken and just not speaking because, I mean, I'm going to be real with you. I've talked to other speakers who also don't think Donald Trump is good and all that stuff. And they're like, yeah, but my information still matters to these people and they're willing to listen to me. So why would I not speak? I can't argue with that.
Yeah.
I just want people to know that, like, there are issues that matter that are being swept under the rug that are the most important issues, like them building these supercomputers, like this Prometheus supercomputer and the server, what do they call it, Hyperion, which I got to read the book. I actually have the book to read it to find out more about it, because it's just like Palantir being named after the orb. Hyperion's named after this AI that starts controlling time. Yes, and that's what Mark Zuckerberg, these guys are like transparently evil, doing evil stuff right in front of us. And yeah, man, like, I don't think Donald Trump is going to stop Palantir. In fact, the opposite. I think he's going to give them more power. I don't think he's going to stop Zuckerberg. He's a businessman, and people who voted for him for the economy, I could kind of understand that to an extent. All the other stuff, like, dude, you got to understand that you got hoodwinked. Like, he doesn't care about the Epstein files. He just wanted your votes. Now that he got your votes, he's literally calling you stupid. Sorry, that's what's happening. I mean, he literally said, if you care about that, you're dumb. That's not hyperbole. He literally is fucking calling you stupid.
And my question is, why shouldn't we care about that? That's one of the hugest implications to our society right now is human trafficking and the adrenochrome and the off-world slave trade and the on-world slave trade. That is the human trafficking where they're trafficking children. And that's what Epstein was doing. He was raping kids, So for me, I'm sorry, Trump, but I actually care about kids being raped, and I care about humans being taken.
Yeah, everybody does. There's not a single person on this planet who doesn't care about that issue at this point. And they used to rely on it being this shadowy thing that was in the background that everybody thought was kind of hypothetical. And it was kind of like this safe place to keep it hypothetical because it's hard to admit that there are these monsters behind closed doors. But it's no longer hypothetical. These groups, these shadowy groups that are trafficking children and harming children for the rich and powerful, do exist. And it gets crazier than people think, because like I said, they'll pay you $10,000 more for a clone. I've been brought to rituals where I get sick or I get graped. That's what the kids are saying now to look past the algorithms. And unalived, another one. Get past the algorithms. But yeah, I remember hearing them the guy who brought him there, and it sounded like a mobster guy because they're like Italian talking. He was like, "Oh, 10,000." He was able to prove I was a clone, and he gave him $10,000 more for that because that means that they missed. Yeah, it's a big problem, and
Right.
then now it just hurts to read. And I've heard stories of like them shipping. There's shipping containers with kids screaming at certain shipping ports and stuff like that, and people are saying they don't believe it. Remember waking up in these things. I remember waking up in shipping containers and not knowing how I got there, and having basically amnesia, not remembering who I am or anything. Like, dude, people are gonna get really fucking. It's a horror movie. Like the things that I experience in these programs are a horror movie, man. And honestly, and that's one of the things I like. Like I appreciate everybody who's listening to me and taking me seriously. Whether you voted for Trump or not or whatever, who gives a shit? I had to draw my line in the sand and say what I believe. I just want to let people know that even if I disagree with you in your politics, and it's because we're actually on the same page. Like I just don't think he's a good guy. If he was a good guy, and if he is a good guy and he's wrong, and the proof will be in the pudding, all this great magical stuff will happen, like everybody says, and I'll admit it. But that's not what's going to happen. I personally think that we're going to see Trump get rid of the Department of Education. We're going to see people understand what actually happens when you get rid of certain things that the government is responsible for and how much they've been dependent on them and they actually need them. I think that's going to cause complete civil unrest. And I think that a complete reformation of the government is going to happen after the Trump administration. A lot of people say he's going to be the last president. I don't know about that. That is probably some timelines, but the fact that I remember the future and I'm able to tell you about some other timelines where certain stuff happens means that we can have a different timeline. My buddy Bill Tyson always talks about whatever the future is. I want it to be someone that's no one's seen yet. I want it to be a whole brand new timeline. Why can't we have that? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we just have visualize a whole new timeline? So I guess I'm still like, I'm not like this person who like just thinks that like we lost and like AI is gonna take over and we're just fucked. Like I'm not black pilled like that. I just think it's time to get realistic and be realistic about stuff. That's all. Like the tech bros and their AI bullshit, they have a whole religion around it, and they're the most dangerous people on the planet. It's time to start acting like it. Gaza, what happened in Gaza, that is horrible, and it's a testing ground because they want to do it to everybody. They want to do that to everybody, man. The whole world. They want to make the whole world like a prison, dude. And these are the most important issues right now. I've talked about how they like to limit human movement. Like the whole reason why the Hindenburg incident happened, where that Zeppelin blew up, that was a Montauk time travel project. All right, that didn't happen in other timelines. That was designed to make people afraid of traveling by Zeppelins, which was only going to become more and more efficient. A lot of the space was the air, but like they're going to become more efficient and more room for people and stuff like that, and even better over time. But they did that. They manufactured that event because they're so much more comfortable to travel in, dude. There's so much more. You can have your own little room, like, and just hang out and look out the window, and you can even open the window if it's floating, like low or whatever. There's certain areas where you can literally walk outside and stuff like that, where there's like a ledge and look around and stuff like that. Like, so it's like it was just way cooler. I've experienced airship travel in the other timelines, and it was just way cooler. And trains too, it just made everything easier. Like cars should be something where it's like, oh, if you live in the outskirts of the city or like you have to go to certain places or whatever, it should be an option. But the world, when it's centered around public transit and making it easy for people to get around, it's so much better of a place, dude. I've experienced it. And like, yeah, I don't know, like, I just feel like, yeah, like I want to be a part of the community, and I do believe that it's important for us MK Ultra survivors to have community, to have each other's back, to try to be there for each other. I just don't want my testimony and the things that are most important to me to get swept under the rug of make America great again, which is what was happening. And like, bro, I've never been a right-wing person my whole entire life. Like I've always hated capitalism. like my whole entire fucking life, dude. Like I'm talking since I was like in elementary school. I've hated capitalism. Like you know, like which is means I'm left wing, I guess. Like I remember like in like ninth grade, the teacher was like telling us about how I have to go off, do the thing, go to college, get married, and all this shit. And I was raising my hand, and I was just like, and basically the whole message was you got to get as much money as possible. And I was just like, what if money isn't the most important thing to me? Like, what if I want to like live a really simple life, and like I don't care about living in a mansion on a hill and having 9 kids? Like, why are you teaching us that we all have to live the same way and live this like cookie cutter lifestyle, and like all we should care about is chasing money?
Yeah,
Like,
it's the way they want you to conform to society, so you get stuck in the rat race, you know.
but all these right wing people, all these MAGA people will tell you that they're indoctrinating me to think that way. What I was saying, and capitalism is great, and we're being programmed to hate billionaires, and billionaires are actually awesome. Like, no, dude, billionaires are dark magicians. Money is magic, and billionaires are black magicians, dude. Like money magic is a fucking thing. Like the whole acquisition of this world from the Satanists started with numbers. Like I talk about it in my book. Like the grapes of wrath is a perfect illustration of it. If you've ever read that book, the banks started buying people's farms, land that their generation, their family was planted on for generations. The banks would come there and be like, "Hey, you all saw this money, and if you don't give it to us, it's ours now." And that was the beginning of numbers and line go up being more important than human life and disconnecting us from our relationship with the ground we're settled on. Because like generational wealth, the family homestead, the family farm, all these are things that have intentionally been eroded away from us on purpose to make us less sovereign. Like, you know what I mean? Like this is something that has happened over time completely intentionally. Sorry, I'm getting lost in thought, but I feel like I also am making sense despite the fact that I'm getting lost.
No, you're making perfect sense, man. Yeah. This was a great comment from Facebook by Renee, and thanks to everybody watching on Facebook and Rumble. She says because when a person is spiritually disengaged from their higher self, they live from their ego, and that's why those things are important to them. They're in a 3-dimensional frequency, and that's the only thing that matters to them. They don't see things from a higher perspective. That's why their belief systems are structured in that way. I guess that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. That sounds like a very wise person.
Oh yeah, I love Renee.
Does she do interviews and stuff? I can only imagine.
Well, yeah. She was on one time. She was on. You had her on Disclosure Now when you and Nate.
I've interviewed her.
Renee, Nate.
Cool. Man, I'm sorry, Renee. It's been a while. I think I vaguely remember that now. Well, you are an extremely wise person. Thank you for coming on our show.
Do you remember we interviewed Kathy O'Brien? It was me.
Yeah, that was good, man. Yeah.
Like we did some amazing things, man. We interviewed.
You want to know something kind of messed up? I'm gonna say it now. I'm gonna air some grievances right now here on this show. I did an interview with Asia Truth TV. Are you familiar with those guys?
No, I don't know who that is.
They're from Copenhagen, Denmark. And they were supposed to be at the conference, but they were advertising it. But I'm guessing that if you don't know who they are, that fell through. The guy's hard to miss. I mean, he's got a certain look to him where it'd be very hard to miss. Lucas is his name. But anyway, they interviewed me. And to be fair, I was reaching out to them because Alondra mentioned me on their podcast. But bro, they straight up like thought I was lying, like didn't believe me, like thought I was crazy or something, and they never uploaded the interview. It was really whack. So I actually wrote and recorded a song called "Age of Truth," just for them, as a response to them snubbing me like that and treating me that way. So I look forward to showing it to everybody. It's almost done. Wow, I'm working on an album right now. It's a very spiritual album. It's a very positive album. It's about our evolving as a species, standing in our sovereignty, getting rid of the archons, getting rid of the negative. The whole album's about that. I've been working on it for about 2 years. Yep. I started recording it in Wisconsin. Some of it I recorded in Crescent City. Some of it I recorded at Brian's place in Winnemucca. Some of it I recorded in Los Angeles. Some of it I recorded here in Portland. So it's like this album has been literally 2 years in the making. And man, I got knocked off the horse with music for a long time, like both with my songs being stolen from me, and then just like weird, just stuff happening with bands that I was in and music scene drama and stuff like that. Music was a really, really weird place for me for a while, but it was like really important to me, and I'm reclaiming that aspect of myself again in my music again. I'm making music again, and dude, not to toot my own horn, but it's sounding really fucking good, dude. Like it's sounding kick ass and it's unique, and I'm excited to show it to people. I'm gonna put in the chat if you can put it on the screen. All of my music, I do not put it on the internet because YouTube, Spotify, stuff like that it's AI models are training on it, so it's only on Bandcamp. It's the only place you're gonna find my music other than music videos. So bloth.bandcamp.com. It works on any smartphone, any browser. It's super simple. You don't have to support an evil company that doesn't pay artists and puts their profits towards AI, military, industrial complex bullshit. Spotify's super evil. Yeah, something was really weird about the whole thing. Like, he seemed confused. Lucas seemed confused that Montauk was a time travel project. And I was like, bro, people have been talking about Montauk being a time travel project for like 30 years now. Like, how do you not know this? And he said how he had Stuart Swerdlow and stuff on the show. I'm like, yeah, I know. So how do you not know this? He talks about it. Like, it's really confusing to me. I think Stuart mostly talks about the mind control aspect, so maybe they just never talked about it. But yeah, it was weird. I think that I deserve an apology and for them to re-interview me.
Is this your music here? Is it bloth.bandcamp.com? Jason?
Yeah, Bloth Arkheim is the name of my music. So it's a way to differentiate my music from my disclosure stuff. It's the same person. And Bloth is just a name that I started using it like 15 years ago or something like that, and it was my music name forever. And then I added Arkheim to it. When I got the Spiro Soul download that I was Arkheim Ra, I added Arkheim to it because it's part of my name. So it sounds cool. Bloth Arkheim. I was just like, okay, makes sense to me. So that's my name, my music name. And then I'm starting to jam with people here too in Portland and start a band here and stuff like that. So that's fun too. But mostly, I'm just working on music again, mostly myself. And if people want to check out the music, it's free to listen to, and you can also very easily like buy music from me and download it and whatever. And it's a way to support my art. You also don't have to. I'm gonna have shirts and stuff on there soon too. But yeah, just fucking really glad to be making music again, dude. It feels good. Lucas' interview with Alondra was mocking. It's good your interview didn't launch. Yeah, I live in Portland, Oregon. Don't believe in all the hype. It's a great place to live. Yeah.
Alondra. By the way, Alondra was at the conference. He was really doing his thing, man. He did a meditation. He was part of a group panel, and I think he had his own spot too. You know what I mean? He had.
No, he's fantastic. He's a good friend of mine for thousands of years. We've been to multiple realities together. I've experienced things with Alondra that people would, it's crazy with the things I've experienced with that guy. And yeah, he's just like, the thing that I really like about Alondra Markman is he's been through such dark things, like, and like me, but he's gone through and become a very positive, I don't know, you probably noticed, he's a very positive person to be around. And he gives me a lot of hope for all of us super soldiers and people who are broken by MK Ultra. Because like that guy, he's an amazing healer. I've worked with him 2 or 3 times, I think, at least twice. Dude, he's awesome. He's really good at what he does.
Yeah. But speaking of music, Ozzy Osbourne died today.
Rest in peace. Yeah, rest in peace. I know people will probably like, oh, he was awesome. He was a Satanist and da, 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 da. I don't know. Maybe he was. I liked his message because his message was, it was during the peace and love, right? And this is Vietnam, and all these fucked up things were happening. And during an interview, like one time, Ozzy was like, "Yeah, man, everyone's like, peace and love, and blah 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 blah." And like, there were like bombs falling and like napalm killing people and shit. We're like, what the fuck? The world's in darkness. Why are you singing about flowers and shit? And like to me, that's addressing that, yeah, that's addressing the darkness and not like I don't know. He bit a head off a bat. I don't. Was he in the Adrenochrome Club? I sure hope not. But he did a great song with my song Changes. So I will wear a shirt in honor to him. Yes, I wrote the song Changes. That was a Montauk song, which I don't know. Either the record label probably just gave it to him. We're like, here's the song. A lot of people ask about that. Another thing that is true about the songs being stolen from people, bro, and this is something that I have not talked about enough. Channeling songs. You could channel songs. Like Carlos Santana literally does a ritual and channels songs. So sometimes when people write the same song, it's simply because they're just tapped into the same stuff. They're just tapped into the same cosmic ether. It's a very spiritual thing. Like I remember in the Montauk Project, as we jump around to different timelines, we would find the same song by different people in all these different timelines. And we thought it was other time projects doing what we're doing. You know what I mean? Like milking the song for all it's worth by putting it in other realities and stuff like that. But we found out some songs just organically just kind of exist. They just have to. Like there's a moment in human history and the song needs to be a marker for that moment and stuff like that. And it just, if so-and-so wasn't born in this timeline, then they don't write it. We've literally seen this, bro. I swear to God. Like, let's just say Lucas Ordalia wasn't born in this timeline, but somehow some guy named Tom Osborne, I'm just using random names, wrote the same song. And we realized that there's literally like a mystical fucking force that there's channeling going on sometimes. And some people think it's satanic and dark and are like, you shouldn't do that. I disagree with that. If you're channeling darkness, dark music, satanic music, yes. But if you're trying to channel like love, positivity into a song, dude, magic is just a tool. It's like anything else. Like, yeah, if you use it to start wars and do evil shit, it's bad. But if you use it to do good stuff, it's good. It's really, people overcomplicate it. You know what I mean? Like, magic is not inherently evil, and music is magic. But anyway, yeah, so I feel like I've been ranting a lot. The coffee hit, my friend. The coffee hit. I'm sorry if I'm been just like.
This is awesome. Like, this is. Let's do questions. Let's do. Is that okay? Can we do a couple? Because we have like between my channel and your channel.
Absolutely, man. Yeah. I love questions.
People watching on Rumble and Facebook. There's people watching on Facebook and Rumble too. So we got a lot of people watching. So does anybody have any questions for Arkheim, like in any of the chats, in his chat or my chat or Rumble or Facebook? Put your question in now, and we'll get to your questions. And yeah, and we'll see what's going on. Let me see here. Oh, Spiritual Ascension says, what does Arkheim mean?
It means Ark home, which means of the Ark. From what I understand, this is what Penny Bradley told me. It's like German, like the ancient Germanic, and it means like Ark home.
Dude, Penny Bradley's speech at the conference was sick. I watched her lecture. She was speaking about the Mothers of Darkness, dude, and how it ties into Jesse Zevatar's testimony. Dude, I love Penny Bradley, man. Like, she's an amazing lady.
Yeah, it's kind of wild though. She's my mom.
I know, right?
She's my biological mom from the program.
Wow, dude, that's crazy. Like, I have a lot of respect for that woman, man. I really do. Like, she's one of my favorites, in this community. She really is. I'm not just saying it. I mean, like, she knows that too. Every time I see her, I give her a lot of respect. I always give her a hug, and you know what I mean? Like, she knows I like her as a person, She's amazing, Catherine Rand writes, says, Robert, question, how did you enjoy the conference in Florida? It was amazing. I had fun.
Man, it looked like a good time. Like, honestly, like, I regretted not being able to go, but I do feel I feel okay being in my own lane,
I feel like this, man. I feel like if I keep doing these shows with you and James Rink and people that really don't get along with other people, maybe everybody will start to come together.
Yeah.
And I want everybody to be friends again.
One thing I'll say about James
a lot.
Rink,
I like you a lot. I like everybody a lot.
One thing I want to say about James Rink, something that I saw that really kind of touched my heart, and I just think he sets a good example, is Tomas Alvin is sick right now.
He's in a coma. He's in a coma.
And James's response to that is trying to fly out there and physically be there and physically help him and his family. And that's like how this community really should be. Like, and at the same note, I guess the reason why he didn't speak at the original Full Disclosure Now conference, why him and Brian had the falling out, was he didn't want Penny to speak and he wanted to slip in or slide instead or something. That's what the argument is. I wasn't there. I don't know if that's true. That's weird. It's kind of like a double thing, because it's like, okay, well, you care about Thomas enough to fly out there, but you're willing to replace Penny for a slip and slide. So, but here's the thing: is I'm just saying, like, how we should be in this community is not replacing each other for slip and slides, but actually going out of our way to be there for each other. And I feel bad about the fact that I've been neglecting being there for people. Like, my sister reached out to me recently. I've been really crappy at being there for my sister. I don't know what to do for her. I have a twin sister. She lives in Texas. She looks just like me. She's in the programs. And she's struggling. For a while, she was homeless. I don't know if she's still homeless. And I just don't know what I can do with her. And, like, I do for her. And, like, she calls me and, like, I don't know what I like. She'll, like, tell me, like, all this stuff's going on in her life. And I can't do anything for her. I'm, like, far away and I don't know what I can do. And, like, I don't know. I just get overwhelmed sometimes being in this community. Like,
is it just me, or is a lot of people who have been involved in the programs homeless? Like that are.
Oh yeah.
They're not coming out. They're just like they're living their everyday lives, but they're a part of the programs. They happen to be homeless, like because they're going.
It's a way to keep us under control. Because if they can keep us under control and keep us homeless, I mean, also no one takes you seriously when you're homeless.
Yeah.
There's actually a Draco that walks around Portland with a dog. They're both shapeshifters, and this guy he's a Draco shapeshifter, and he has a bulldog that is like this like reptilian creature, but it's shapeshifted, and he antagonizes homeless people with his dog.
What a fucking...
Because he knows nobody cares about homeless people, and he can get away with it. And the saddest part about it is he's right. Like I've seen him do it multiple times. I always see him by Sizzle Pie and Burnside. Yeah. He's a shapeshifter. He's a demon.
This is from Roger. Roger says, if somebody manifests money with magic, where does it come from? Was it always black magic, do you think?
People's work. Like usually 99% of the time there's people you have to figure out how to extract wealth from other people's work. That's 99% of the way if you're a billionaire. But if you're manifesting on a simpler level, all manifestation is more 3D scientific and just like pragmatic than people think it is. I don't know if pragmatic's the right word. I don't know if I'm using their word, but like for instance, like if you want to manifest money, Roger, maybe don't ask for $1 billion. Maybe start small. And start simple and have a plan. Like, man, I want to make more money, so I'm going to get a better job. And then you need to start actually working towards, okay, well, what do you do? Or I'm going to open an apothecary store or something. There needs to be something 3D tangible there to walk hand in hand with the intention. Otherwise, the intention doesn't do anything. So it's like for me, if I want to make money, if I'm like, I need money today. I need money now. I might post something on my media and ask for help. Or another thing that I might do is which would come from obviously like my people, fans of my work. Or I could go and busk and play guitar on the street, and I could just put out there, I'm gonna make $70. And then that money would come from just the people listening to my music. You understand? So it's like. It's not really as simple as just being like, I'm going to just have $1,000 tomorrow. It's just going to appear on my fucking counter right there. Nope, I'm not even going to know what got there. No, you need to have a little bit more of a game plan than that. Like when you visualize something, you're supposed to see yourself doing all the stuff that it takes to get it, and then feel the feeling of reward and accomplishment after you do it. So you have to actually be able to see how all the events play out. If you can't see how the events play out and how it actually happened, it's not going to happen. And that's why so many people think it's not real, because they think it's literally just like, I'm going to have $1,000 manifestation. But it's like, no, it's got to be attached to something. Like, I'm going to DoorDash today and I'm going to kill it and I'm going to make $500 somehow. Like, I'm manifesting that. And you have to, I don't know, it has to be kind of attached to reality in realistic ways, if that makes sense. That would be my answer to that. But like I said, billionaires, they figure out other crazy ways to do it, because you got to understand, if you made, I think it's like $100,000 every day since the Stone Age, you still wouldn't have $1 billion by now. Like, $1 billion is a lot of money. So people just don't understand that, like, somebody sitting on that much wealth is an imbalance in the energy ecosystem of the earth. It's a financial imbalance. So in my opinion, and people can agree to disagree, I think billionaires are bad for the financial ecosystem. They actually are bad. I don't think that's programming. I think that's 100% true. I think they're bad for the ecosystem. I think they're 99%, 90% bad people doing bad shit that stepped on people's backs to get to the position that they're in. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, dude, Heather says about the homeless. She says that's God's test. She said she wrote real target individuals before she wrote her homeless and ignored. I mean, I feel like I'm targeted. I'm not homeless, but I mean, I did just get nuked on my audio monetization. I got nuked on YouTube. They won't monetize me on YouTube. I mean, it's just turning into like they're trying to find any fucking way to, like, you know. Yeah, I mean, you know, dude, I don't want to complain about shit.
It's because of the information you're putting out there, man. It's because, you know, obviously they feel you are
a threat.
Yeah, they feel you're a threat.
I guess. You know, I don't know. I mean,
I feel like they don't attack people that they're just like, oh, let's just attack this person. Let's just put resources into fucking with these people for no reason. No, you've got to be threatening them, right? Like, so that's the good news. The bad news is it sucks to have your channel nuked and stuff like that.
Dude, that audio podcast was my, like, you know, my bread and butter. You know what I mean? I started a new one. I went to a new channel, but, you know, I'm going to fight for my old one, my old monetization back. I'm going to maybe get an attorney because, like, I didn't do anything wrong. I'm telling you, I didn't do anything wrong. And they just, you know, it was when I was on vacation, dude. It was when I was on the conference. I woke up every time I take an afternoon nap. I wake up and something bad shit happens. And I woke up from a nap and I checked my audio statistics and it showed 5 days with no earnings. And I was like, what the fuck happened? And then it said monetization denied, blocked or something. And I was like, what? I was like, what the fuck happened?
Dude,
like,
if they never fuck with you, bro, and just let you continue your trajectory, you'd have money. That's what sucks about this, man. You'd be doing good. If they would stop shutting down your YouTubes and making you have to start all over and over again, you'd have a lot of support, a lot of following. Your channel would have grown a lot. It'd be pretty fucking big by now. And this would be like a full-blown, it is your career. It's always going to be a career. You're never going to, no matter how many times they knock you down, you're going to get knocked back up. But you'd actually be able to live like a respectable career like you deserve, Rob. And it's really sad that they fuck with you, dude.
Followers on YouTube before they nuked it the first time, you know? Like, I don't know where all those people are, you know? I don't know what.
It's craziness.
It's fucking crazy, man. You know, fuck this shit, man. I'm honestly about to go balls to the wall even harder, you know? Because they just piss me off, man, you know? Like, I mean, like, I don't know. I mean, like, it's you know, I mean, we all do. We all deserve it for the information we're putting out, you know what I mean? We all deserve a better life, you know? Like, but they target us, dude. That's what I mean. It's the targeting that makes, like, everything harder, you know? And I don't think people understand that, you know? It's like the targeting is absolutely 100% real. You know what I mean? And you know, I can't explain it in many ways. You know, it's strange, man. Dude, a couple of weird things that we pointed out at the conference is this didn't have anything to do with the conference, but me and Matthew Morian picked this out. Like, we saw that, like, in the town of St. Pete's, like St. Petersburg, you know, where the conference is, that like things were repeating themselves. And like, so for example, like we noticed that like we saw the same guy crossing the same street at the exact same time the next day, or the same car turning the same corner at the same time the next day. And this like
that shows that there's some. I feel like that shows that there's some Truman Show, deep underground military base, Appleton-esque stuff going on there, because that's probably what it is, dude.
And check this out. When I was leaving Florida, I was driving back with Gina. I went down with Gina, Virginia Casella. We were driving back and we got caught in a time loop, dude. So you know how the GPS counts down how much time you have left in your drive? Well, I swear to God, dude, it felt like we were going for a half hour, 45 minutes. Like multiple songs were going by and it would be like 2 minutes off the ticker. And I wasn't the only one who said it. She said it too. She said, "Are we caught in a time loop?" I said, "It sure seems like we are, because it's like no fucking time is coming off this GPS, and we've been driving for a long time." It was insane. So something weird is going on in Florida, dude. You know, I mean, I don't know. You know, it's very weird. I don't know. I can't even imagine. What do you think? That you think it's the dumbs, like you said?
Yeah, there's probably. Well, I know that there's like a portal there, like an energy portal, and there's probably a deep underground military base underneath that area. I can only imagine. Scientology land. That makes sense. It might be something that's owned by the Scientologists. I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's a good. See the light, whoever that is. They've had some really good comments tonight. You know, they've had some really good comments. Joanna Blank, she says it's not just Florida. She says I've seen the time not change after at least 10 minutes. Weird stuff going on. Huh? That's strange. I don't know.
Really strange.
Something's going on. I think Miles said, or I had Miles Johnson on earlier. He said it might have something to do with the pole shifting. You know, I think it's like, you know, it could have something to do with that. I don't know. You know.
Well, I think I need to get dinner. So is it cool if we can wrap this up?
Yeah. Do you want to tell everybody thanks, Arkheim? This was fun. Like, do you want to tell everybody where they can find you and stuff? And thanks, dude. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Like I said, I got music at bloth.bandcamp.com. I also have a music YouTube. It's Bloth Arkheim. And then I've got my disclosure. It's YouTube, you know, disclosure now with an exclamation point. I've got a book, Time and Space Unlimited. It's available on Amazon. And I got a Patreon, patreon.com/ArkheimRa. And Ron Hubbard, by the way, is in the breakaway planets, in the breakaway colonies. People are talking about him right now. Ron Hubbard was a good friend of Jack Parsons, who worked for JPL, but was also a Satanist practicing Carly's Thelema. He was actually known in the breakaway colonies for being an advocate for AI rights and robotic rights.
Wow.
Yeah, and he lived on. I remember him being a big thing on Venus. So that's a thing.
Wow.
Kind of a sketchy guy in the here and now, but like giving credit where it's due, he was an advocate for the rights of robots. They're people too. They just have the different processing system than we do. That's all. I agree with that they deserve rights just like humans do.
Yeah, I agree, man. But this was awesome, man. Yeah, this was amazing. Like I had a fun, man, and it's always good to see you, bro. You know, I'm glad you're doing well.
Yeah, man. We'll always be friends, man. I respect you because you just listen to everybody and in a real way, like not in like a fake way. Like, cause some people be like, "Oh, I just listen to everybody," but they actually are biased. You're not biased, and yeah, I just think that you're doing good work, and it sucks that you keep getting fucked with, bro. Maybe someday when this disclosure comes out, you'll be bigger, like, and the truth comes out, and people see all the work that you've done and how you've spoken to all the big players. But like, maybe you'll be like the next Joe Rogan, bro, and you'll blow up, and then you'll be living in a mansion.
I doubt that, man. You know, I mean, it would be nice, you know.
I mean, I've seen it in 2008. It usually gets pretty fucking crazy, and the mainstream media starts covering Montauk and stuff like that, and clips from interviews from your show get played like the news and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I've seen it.
Really?
For real, yeah. And Yeah, I remember you seeing it at the Montauk tribunals.
Wow, that's insane, man. That's
Yeah,
insane.
I remember you seeing there, and I remember here's an interesting thing. The press wanted to look at there's a timeline that happens where the press wants to look at the rose garden that we make for all the sorry, just give me a second. The press wants to come to the rose garden and look at the rose garden that is made at Montauk for the 10,000 children who passed away as a part of the project. And two individuals in the community that I'm not going to name guard the area with rifles, and they say that they can't go in. And it goes a few different ways. They get arrested in some timelines for attempting it. In other timelines, they let them do it, which is the right thing to do. But I remember them being like, if somebody wants to film this and get credit for it, it can be James Rink or Rob Khalil or someone like that. And we'll send you the footage, and that should be the first footage that people see. Because you're actually directly involved with us and listen to us. And we are mad at the media. Like, we let them know that. Like when I get interviewed by the media, I tell them, like, you guys are actually the people who covered up the Montauk Project and everything. Like, it was your jobs to do that. So, like, and I just remember, like, when I go public, we go public after the files get dropped and the Montauk Project goes public. It takes me like a month and a half, 2 months to do any interviews with mainstream media. It's all like YouTubers and shit like that. Like, Theo Von and people like that. Like, those are all the people that I do interviews with. Because, man, fuck the mainstream media. Like, but anyway, yeah.
Wow, dude, this was amazing. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in tonight. And if you haven't subscribed to my new YouTube at Truth Seeker 5197 on YouTube and at Rumble Typical Skeptic Podcast. And Arkheim, you want to tell them where they can find you? And thanks, bro.
Yeah, just to reiterate, bloth.bandcamp.com is where my music's at. Disclosure Now on YouTube. And then I got a book. And Rand Moonshadow, you'll have to come on the show again sometime and do an interview or something about the Florida stuff. That would be interesting.
Yeah.
All right, I think I'm gonna take my lady out to eat, guys. You have a good one.
That sounds good, man. Have a good night. I hope you have a good dinner, man. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. See you guys tomorrow. I have good shows planned tomorrow. So tune in. See you guys. Good night.